Hey, it's Jeff here, your YouTube reviewer of New England brews. Welcome to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews. Today, a classic from the Harpoon Brewing Company of Boston, Massachusetts and Windsor, Vermont. This is their annual seasonal offering. It is their winter warmer. Comes in with an alcohol by volume of 5.9% ABV. This was first brewed in 1988. That was even before they opened their Windsor Brewery. This was brewed in Massachusetts in those days. And then, the first time I had it was probably Christmas time 1992, I'm guessing. Maybe 93, but right around that time frame. And this is a beer I've had usually at least once a year, every year. I'm surprised I haven't reviewed this on my channel until now. It is widely available at this time of year. And so Harpoon, though, I mean, I love talking about these classic breweries like Shipyard and Smutty Nose and Harpoon, you know, and Samuel Adams, Sierra Nevada. I don't talk about them so much on my channel. But a lot of these breweries that came along in the 80s and 90s, there were so few of them. I mean, we're spoiled now. As a craft brew fan like I am now, the number of craft breweries out there, at least here in New Hampshire, I think we have 60 alone. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, there might have only been 60 in all of the Northeast. And probably that's overestimating. And now there's hundreds of them all over the country and all over the world. And Harpoon was one of those companies that kind of kicked it all off. And this winter warmer was one of those beers I would look for every year because in those days it was so hard to find any kind of craft beer. In the 80s and 90s, I really drank a lot of imports in those days. So I'm going to pour it into this Nutfield glass. Nutfield Brewery existed in New Hampshire, Derry, New Hampshire, during the 1990s. It closed in 2001. They put a few beers out in bottles. Then for a while they were only available as a brew pub. And the brewery closed down entirely. And it's too bad because they put out some pretty good beer in those days. And the thing about Nutfield is that Derry, New Hampshire, Londonderry, New Hampshire, that whole area of New Hampshire has become a real go-to place for craft beer. There are 5 craft beer breweries in the Londonderry and Derry area as of now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more open up. I mean, really, that area has really turned into quite a haven for them. So, enough of the history lesson and enough about all that other stuff. Let's talk about the beer I'm talking about, which is, again, the Winter Warmer. This is a beer you've probably seen. I don't think Harpoon's in all 50 states. But I'm pretty sure they're all up and down the Atlantic seaboard and into some parts of other parts of the country, maybe on the west coast in some areas, maybe the southern part of the country. This is one that often turns up as a 12-pack by itself. It also turns up in mix packs. So it's one that you might be able to get outside of New England. So giving it a pour and take a look at that copper, beautiful copper color pour on this amber copper, almost glowing sort of copper color, with this modest little head up top. It's kind of an off-white, sort of a light cream-colored head on this. Not a big one, but I didn't pour it very aggressively. So let's check out the aromas. And there's that cinnamon, and there's that nutmeg. You'd almost think this was a pumpkin spice, but it's handled a little differently. You do get a definite spicy, herbal, sweet malt character, unlike a pumpkin spice, which has sort of a pumpkin-y, you know, squash-like character, along with the cinnamon and nutmeg. This is more just the cinnamon and nutmeg. And sweet malts. And just a deep aroma. It's very, very nice aroma. It's not a weak aroma. It's got some character to it. Let's check out the taste. I do like this beer still. I mean, I've been drinking it 25 years. You would think after that amount of time you might get a little tired of a certain beer. You know, you want to try different things, but if you do it right, keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And to keep doing it for almost 30 years, we're talking 28 years now. That's really saying something. So, enough of that. I've been just getting off on sort of, I guess I'm sort of in this melancholic, that's maybe not the right word, thinking about the past, all these old craft beers I used to try way back when. Let me step aside from my camera for a second. I want to show you something because it's right over here. All right, let's take a look at this. Here we go. This is a brew fest I went to in 1995. This was at Gunstock in Guilford, New Hampshire. So anyway, I'm really, this is turning into quite, I guess maybe because it's Thanksgiving and I want to kind of talk about a lot of good stuff. So as to this beer, I already gave you a little rundown of the aroma. It's very nice, very cinnamon, very nutmeg-like, very sweet. Taste is also very sweet, with a mild bitterness on this beer. It is 23 international bittering units, which is kind of a mild to moderate bitterness, so it's not super bitter. It's a little more so than a standard lager, but it's got a little slight bite to it. You don't pick up the bite as much. You just pick up kind of a sort of a dryish kind of finish along with all that cinnamon and nutmeg. And it lingers briefly, but what you're really getting, it's kind of like you can almost sense the aromas of a Christmas meal cooking in the house. You know, kind of a dessert, like a pumpkin pie, not really pumpkin pie, but apple pie or something like that. Apple pie might be a better description. I'm not picking up an apple flavor, but you know that sort of really sugary kind of cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar-like character. That's all in this beer. I mean, it's an outstanding beer. It's a beer that I try to have pretty regularly. The brewery itself, Harpoon, is now 30 years old. You can see right up here, established 1986. And this one was one of their earliest ones from 1988. So yeah, we're talking like this is a grandpa now compared to some of the craft beers that are out there today. So it's a really nice beer. I would recommend it. It's at least have one once, you know, just to try something a little different. If you've been used to drinking American pale lagers, the kind of typical beers you buy at every corner store, well, this is somewhat available. It's kind of like as available as like Sam Adams might be, or maybe Sierra Nevada, or you know some of those other breweries like that, Shipyard, Sea Dog. Those kind of breweries you can find pretty regularly up and down the Atlantic coastline, and Harpoon is among that group. And I would suggest you try picking this up for the holiday season. It's just a nice thing to reminisce and to try something that sort of tells them how they do it now. So that'll do it for now. I kind of meandered on, I'm sorry, but I guess I'm in a mood to think back over the years. So it's a Harpoon Winter Warmer. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again next time.